Boom, cool. We're live. I am empowered. This
Awesome.
is a new thing we're doing here at Empower Africa. Where the purpose of it is to just be empowered. We've been meeting so many great people across the continent, and I've just always been so empowered by everybody, for lack of better words. And so I just thought that we would share these incredible names and people and stories with the rest of the community. My name's Caleb Zipperstein here. I'm on the business development and investment team in Empower Africa. I live and breathe venture capital on the continent. I'm on Twitter. Feel free to give me a follow there at C Zipperstein. And I'm here with our amazing host, Tendai. Tendai, what's up?
Hi, everyone. Hey, what's up, Caleb? My name is Tendai, for everyone who doesn't know me. I don't work for Empower Africa. So I'm currently living in the Bay Area in California. I'm a PhD student, just finishing up my neuroscience degree at Cambridge.
Yep.
And in the meantime, I'm working as a venture fellow for Alumni Ventures Group here in the States. So I'm also very excited about Africa and Empower Africa.
And you're co-hosting a podcast now.
Yes, and now I'm co-host.
Add that to the resume, living the dream.
Of course.
So you're doing your PhD in Cambridge?
Yes. So Cambridge in the UK.
Oh, wow. But where are you at the moment?
At the moment, I'm in Oakland, California.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So when COVID hit, I escaped, came back to the States so I could be with family, and now I'm here.
Oh, nice. Far away.
Yeah.
Far away from Africa.
Yeah, very far from Africa, but luckily because of technology, I can stay very close to what's happening on ground, as you can see.
That's great. That's great. Where are you from in Africa originally, Tendai?
So I was born in Zambia, in a small city called Kitwe.
Okay.
And yeah, so Zambia is an awesome place. Everyone should visit it. It's very close to South Africa. So I lived there until I was 5, and then my family moved to the USA. So last time I was in Zambia was in 2018 for Christmas, and it was the first time actually going back since I moved away, and it's literally so amazing.
Incredible. Yeah, I just spoke yesterday with a VC in Zambia, Jito Kayonga, I think he's called, or Kayonga. Jito, let's call him. Really interesting stuff going on in Zambia, and I've heard it's a beautiful spot.
Yeah, it is. Actually, I'm going to have to get in touch with him then, because I've been looking for more Zambian VCs.
On Twitter.
Oh, of course.
I'll connect you. I'll connect all of us.
Okay, that would be awesome.
So you're excited to be here? We're doing here we are. We're doing the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited. Funny thing is, last year I was just going through my contacts and I was telling them, look, guys, I'm going to start a podcast about venture and I'm going to interview entrepreneurs. So the fact that we actually met up and that we're actually doing this podcast is very, very timely. So I'm really glad our visions aligned.
Well, we should tell them that yesterday you literally DM'd me a graphic for your podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
And I DM'd you back the amazing graphic that our director of marketing, Jesse Schiff, created. I'm empowered.
Yeah.
And this was literally at 10:30 p.m. Israel time last night. And I said, I said, you want to co-host? And here we are.
Yeah, I mean, I've been ready. So I'm glad our paths crossed.
You empowered?
Yes, I'm very empowered.
Are you ready to be even more empowered by our guest, Richard Rusa?
I am, because I've heard that he's doing awesome things in Rwanda I'm excited to share.
He is literally ballistic. This conversation is going to be so special. We're getting an incredible exclusive on probably the coolest company in Kigali right now, but also just one of the most savvy tech minds in Kigali, who has worked at some of the greatest companies in Rwanda. I don't know if I didn't have the chance to meet him. I lived in Rwanda for I've lived for 6 weeks at the end of 2020. Met everybody there. Just was really I'm working on I'm working on a piece about this right now, but it was a really it was an experience that came at the right time, both professionally and personally. Took a lot away from it. So I'm really, really happy to be, continuing the relationships and to, be meeting new folks from Rwanda. And we've got Richard Rusa here today, coming all the way from Kigali. Richard, how's it going, man?
Life is good. Back in normal for most people. They're now back in the streets after about maybe 3 weeks in homes. So life is slowly coming back to normal, though most of the businesses are still closed and trying to figure out new ways to still be running business and profitable, But it's a common problem everywhere in the world right now.
It's a problem, but it also presents this incredible opportunity for, product management and digital transformation. Definitely.
As a product designer, every problem is actually an opportunity to create a solution, right? So you're always knocking your head on the wall, trying to find alternatives and ways to tackle some of the challenges. And you find low-hanging fruits in some instances, and others you just have to disrupt ways things are done and then create new ways. So it's really exciting. From a product designer standpoint, I can't wait to see the kind of innovations that will come up out of this pandemic and how life will be fully perceived in a new way, and the way we interact with things and do things in general. So it's exciting.
For sure. So in what ways have you had to actually innovate because of COVID?
Oh, that's a good question. But maybe before we get there, I'll introduce myself quickly.
Oh,
yeah.
So I'm a computer scientist by training.
A computer scientist.
Yeah, by training, and product designer by profession. But all in all, I consider myself an artist because I grew up doing a lot of artistic things, hence product design. I found ways to link the artsy me with computers, and eventually got into an exciting part of technology that was creation itself. I grew up doing a lot of drawing, singing, cooking.
Cooking?
I love gardening, and I consider all those being in the family of art.
Sure.
Art is life, So I've been in tech for about maybe 11 years in Rwanda. I've co-founded a startup called Hehe. We're arguably one of the, if not the leading tech company in Rwanda, one that really paved the way for many other startups then.
That's DM Hehe, yeah?
DMM Hehe, yes.
That's like the one company when I was in Rwanda that everybody would refer to as like the gold standard of tech successes in Kigali.
So by then it was really pioneering technology and software development. But then we reached a point where there were a lot more startups being birthed, and especially with the government strategy in trying to push technology as an enabler for the economy. So we have a lot more startups than 11 years ago or 10 years ago. And we've done a lot of exciting projects, as you can imagine, most of them tackling grassroots challenges like healthcare, education, transportation, trade, agriculture. We've really had to immerse ourselves in just trying to solve some of the most fundamental problems. And fast forward maybe four years ago, the company got acquired by a Japanese conglomerate, DMM, hence the name DMM Hehe. Initially, we were simply Hehe. So we ventured a lot in e-commerce, and now it's bearing its fruits. I'm currently a product design consultant. I'm no longer with Hehe right now, and also doing a lot of entrepreneurial and venturing into a lot of entrepreneurial initiative on a personal level.
Wow, that's amazing.
Incredible. Talk about the journey of DM Hehe. I'm really curious to hear just about like the experience building a company from the ground up in Rwanda. And being a product manager as well.
Yes.
An artist.
Our vision from the get-go was to put information in people's hands. That's what we were excited to do. Internet was still a scarce commodity, at least for the case of Rwanda. We had a very low internet penetration then, and most of the infrastructure were being laid. People were trying to make sense of the big vision, the Vision 2020 that was a buzzword at that time. Sorry, and also technology wasn't necessarily a necessity like it is today. So, as a software development company, first of all, the main challenge was how do we bring technology in a very small country where people are very social. Rwanda is one of the smallest countries on the continent. We're about 26,000 kilometers square, if that's what you say in English. I'm Francophone from a background, so you'll hear a lot of French in my accent. Rwanda is quite small, so one of the smallest. The population is big though. We're about 12 million, but we're also very compact. People are all together. Caleb, you can attest. You who was here in Rwanda. People know each other. Naturally, everybody knows everybody. And when you ask, how do I get this service, or do you know somebody who can do this and this, it's easy for somebody to tell you, hey, I know somebody, because it's that small. Everybody knows everybody in Kigali. So it's hard now to bring in technology, saying that we're using it as a tool, for example, for e-commerce, or as a tool to ease interaction or any other process. And then you're also dealing with things like literacy and awareness around technology itself. So basically, some of the initial things that we had to do was, first of all, do a lot of immersion processes and exercises, just trying to understand what really is that golden challenge that can be solved by technology, and not just bring me to solutions, because by then many are dreaming to create the next Facebook, the next Twitter, the next, you can name it. But that wasn't really the case. I remember some of the initial projects I worked on. It was a solution in agriculture that was basically just aggregating information from farmers, bringing information to decision makers in the coffee value chain. And the way we had to go around it was fascinating, and it's one of the stories I like to tell in my product design journey. We did a lot of research on how best to approach it, and our client wanted a mobile application. But then when we did that research, we realized most of the farmers we're talking about are people, first of all, who are elderly, above 50 or 60. These are people, many of them didn't even go to school, and the only thing they can do with their mobile phone is calling and replying to a call. So the more we were digging deeper, we realized most of those families had children that were going to school. And then the solution that intended to be designed for farmers, we ended up designing it for for the younger ones in the households. So it eventually became a fun application that we built for these young people who are all high school students in the farmer's family that they would interact with and gather the information and the data we needed from their parents and get all sorts of incentives in the process. But then eventually we achieved our goal. So we really had to go around and find different ways to reimagine and redesign some solutions that seemed obvious in the first place into something that you wouldn't even think about instantly. So now as we speak, Rwanda is one of the leading tech enablers, if I may say, on the continent, whether it's from a mobile penetration, internet penetration, and even innovation standpoint, probably ranks on all those categories among the top 5. So there's now a lot more opportunity and a lot more awareness, and the government has rolled along a lot, bringing in technology for public services. One of the tech solutions you've probably heard of, Caleb, is Irembo, which is one amazing government solution where we're getting access to all sorts of public services from the mobile devices and the computers we have home without having to move. So the fact that the government is already paving the way now, the people in the most remote areas in the country are investing in technology, and that's an opportunity for innovators to even now start bringing new things on board. And the pandemic has also come on board to also cement that, because we can't live without technology at this point, and it's tremendous opportunity for everyone who is creating solutions right now, because everybody's willing and open to experiment and try out things.
That's great. I'm curious though, what types of incentives did you use to motivate the students to actually use the app?
Oh, so at the end of the project, they owned the mobile device that they were handed, because
that's a great incentive.
And they had all sorts of training attached to it. So not only they would learn how to use the device, but they had opportunities in terms of internship after they completed their studies, and a bunch of other incentives that are dear to them that really made sense in that at that time.
Okay.
So you said that the pandemic is a time to try new things.
Mm-hmm.
You said you're also an artist with a bunch of hobbies.
Yep.
I've picked up surfing during the pandemic, surfing and a little bit of mixed martial arts and boxing training. Tendai, what have you picked up during the pandemic?
I started
during the pandemic.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, Richard. I was gonna say, so I've been cooking, like you, Richard. I've also tried to do more hiking and longboarding, so I love to longboard.
Longboarding? Oh, like skateboarding?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
But more fun.
That's dope. That's similar to the surf. That's similar to surfing. So
yeah,
very true to California, nonetheless.
Yeah, exactly.
You can longboard down the giant hills of Kigali. You can probably whip all the way down KG9 Naraturama.
I'm not that brave yet, so I'll just stick to level ground for now.
Sounds good.
What about you, Richard?
A new thing I picked, I would say piano. It was long overdue. I've been playing acoustic, not too advanced, but then I thought piano was one of the most romantic and coolest instruments that everybody should know how to play. So I started playing some, and it's quite cool. And obviously, I did a lot of cooking in the process.
what have you been cooking?
All sorts of meals.
Yeah.
I get inspired by the global cuisine. Honestly, I love Asian cuisine. I love European cuisine. So I also do a lot of local food cooking.
What's your favorite dish to cook?
Oh, my favorite dish to cook: chicken in all its shapes.
Chicken.
Yes.
That's a classic.
Yeah, but in addition to the hobbies, I mean, we could talk about food all day, but we're just going to make our audience here probably hungry and salivate, so we don't want to do that to them. But what about professionally? You mentioned that you had you have a product management consulting business. You want to walk us through a little bit about that and what some of the ups and downs, pandemic, non-pandemic sort of things you're seeing in that space?
So it's during the pandemic that I actually transitioned from Hehe to being a consultant, a product consultant. And basically it was also what I called a sabbatical for me. Honestly, I wanted to unwind and catch some energy for the next journey. But I tried to keep myself busy still, and some of the work I'm involved in is basically providing advisory support and R&D kind of insights in already ongoing projects. I'm, for example, playing an advisory role in a health platform that's being built. It's basically a doctor's portal, a consulting doctor's portal where different specialized doctors in Rwanda are listing themselves and opening up to serve the population in new ways using technology. So basically just walking them through the journey of giving that kind of solution shape. They already had something going and basically just fine-tuning it to be really user-friendly and create a great user experience and ways to roll it out in a way that it really goes out here and serves the people that need it. So I'm playing those kind of roles. They are not. I'm not heavily invested in the process, but supporting primarily. So those are the kind of projects I've been primarily involved in. But also, as you can imagine, I also wanted to keep the entrepreneurial juice going, and that's how my next startup was birthed. That we're probably going to talk about next.
Oh, next startup. Serial entrepreneur.
So what is your next startup?
Yeah, we talked about food and we're trying to run away from food, but it looks like we won't.
I'm okay with it. I had a big lunch.
Well, I haven't eaten breakfast yet, but so I'm very eager to hear what you talk about.
This was not the podcast to come hungry to, I guess.
Given cooking was also at the center of what we were doing. My dream was to retire a restaurant owner. So that has always been the dream. Some of the activities I wanted to do when I retired was cooking, and enjoying a meal with my family and friends. But then when we got locked down, there was a lot of cooking happening in my house, and sometimes friends would just text and say, "Can you send us some of the meals you've made?" And that's how the crazy idea really was birthed. I was busy minding my business and making burgers because I was craving some with my housemates, and shared the picture with a friend, and friends were like, "Hey, can you send some?" I was like, "Why not?" And the next question was, "How many burgers do you want?" the guy was like 15 of them.
Wow.
I had never made 15 burgers in this way. So he wanted to share with the people he was with. So we ended up making the 15 burgers. Long story short, and sent them away. And what we received back wasn't money, rather a short review video where everybody was just talking about the burgers. And they were like, dude, why don't you share this with the world? You're keeping it to yourself and all. Some of them were like, if you want, we're going to invest in your startup, but just get it going.
Just because your burger was that good?
Yes. So.
Wait, whoa. Sorry, continue. No, continue.
Basically, I'm usually not that impulsive that I would just follow the flow. But I was like, what do I have to lose? Let me just get this going. So with my housemates, we just decided, okay, let's start sending these burgers away. And what better way than to use your direct network? We were like, let's share within the network of friends that we have, just one picture. We had this random picture of the burgers we had made and started sharing it and saying, if you want some, it's only 3,000 francs and we'll deliver to your home. Before we realized the chain was already getting out of control. It was no longer the direct circle of friends, but friends of our friends ordering for these burgers. What I thought was going to be a 1 to 2 weeks hype and adventure started bringing all sorts of pop-ups of ideas, and a vision started forming. And I was like, oh, wait, this was supposed to be for retirement, not now, you know? Just like that, even the story behind the name. So what we would do is ask for feedback after, and ask the simple question was, how's the burger? And people would be like, ballistic. And Ballistic Burgers was born.
So what does ballistic mean? That's an amazing story, by the way.
And so you're Ballistic Burgers.
Yes.
That's so special. I had them 3 times in Kigali, 3 or 4. My friend introduced, and I had the same exact reaction. Just like, where is this guy? I must invest in him. The user experience is so great. And just, you talk about product design and art. Just your burger is just the marriage of that. It is so good. It is such a good product. Wow. Wow.
To answer your question, Tendai, ballistic. I guess it's a slang. It's a slang that everybody uses, but don't necessarily understand what it means. But it simply means great. In our case, it's yummy, it's good, it's great, and that's what we're hearing from the customers. And I loved and the reason why I wrote along that name, I could have come up with all sorts of other names, or we could have come up with all sorts of other names, but it was coming from the customers, and that was very important for me. Because we wanted to build something that was really customer centric and something that people would relate with, it was just naturally the name to go with. Whether it was cliche or didn't resonate with some, didn't really matter to me, because the audience that we were serving, it's a name that they could relate with and understand clearly. So basically, with that now we had to build a business. And we're now 9 months in the business, doing what we love to do. And the vision now is, we've challenged ourselves to create or to become the leading mobile fast food in Africa by 2030. And our approach is primarily to try and innovate around the rich food culture that we already have on the continent, and marry them with contemporary and modern in global food cultures that we find here and there, and create a comfort food experience that's unseen. Right now we're talking about burgers, but Rwanda is one of those countries where I believe we haven't done justice to our food culture. Many people are very confused with what the Rwandan food identity is. And as we move, we want to bring those out. But the starting point is, though it's a burger, though it sounds Western, how do we bring in that Rwandan touch to it? And it's from the sourcing point that we're approaching it, the things that we're using to create these burgers, the kind of partnerships that we're bringing on board to kind of make it happen, whether it's the one supplying us with the flour that we're using to make the buns, or the supplier of the meat, or the supplier of the vegetables that we're using to make sure these are things that are locally made, easy to find, that can help us scale very fast. So that's one. Another arm is innovation. Basically, that's we're trying to innovate really around that. And the arm that the other pillar I talked about was customer centricity, which is really important to me, because I want to co-create this with the people we are serving. And the third or fourth would be value for money. We're a community that is price sensitive. In as much as we love good things, people love feeling like they're getting value for their money. Not necessarily cheap, but they're getting value for their money. So we want to make people feel that it's the size of the burger. Was it too small when I paid this much? Did I feel like there wasn't enough toppings or that? So creating a perception that it's really value for their money. That's another thing that's important. So yeah, and we also had to continue the culture or the chain that helped us get started in the first place. And it's basically a network of people who love to have this kind of products. And once you've tasted it, you love it, you share the good news with the next person. And we're trying also to use the easiest platforms that you can find without complicating it. Like right now, we're using WhatsApp.
That's how I heard about it.
Yes. So the tweak to that experience was basically reimagining the customer journey. In as much as it was WhatsApp, it was important for us to imagine to design a customer journey where we anticipated some of the questions that the customer would ask and have answers to them, and even questions that we might want to ask the customer and have them preset. So when you're interacting with that whole process, you feel like you're understood. You feel like we know what we're talking about, and you feel like you're served the way you would want to be served.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. So I'd like to go back to something you said about implementing the flavors of Rwandan cuisine. So are there any special flavors of burger that you've actually created that are specific to Rwanda, or they implement Rwandan cuisine?
I would say one of the products on our current menu, we only have 5 items, mind you, on the menu at the moment. One of the burgers that kind of have that touch, I would say, is the vegetarian burger. The mix is something that I didn't have to go by the book, really. Bringing in all sorts of vegetables that I know are just things that you can get from your backyard garden, and we mixed a bunch of them and created a patty off of it, and it's one of the best veggie burgers I've eaten.
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing.
I mean, you said you wanted to be a retire as a restaurant owner, but this is totally atypical what you're doing. It's just it's so disruptive. You know, just the technological and food product itself to just make just to make the customer experience so much better and just literally like more delicious, like just like like this is it's genius. It's brilliant.
Thanks.
It's brilliant. I'm saying that as somebody that's like had the burger and has also had to deal with the trauma of being separated from the burger, which I can't get in Israel now, unfortunately. We'll work on that.
Who knows? In a year's time, maybe, or less, depending on how fast we can scale. Maybe for Tendai, what I didn't emphasize on is the keyword I like to use. We are a mobile fast food, and by mobility means we don't own any brick and mortar. We're not doing the brick and mortar model, as you can imagine. So the ideal way to put it is we're gonna do a mix of a lot of mobile approach to it, whether it's vending or food trucks or scaling our kitchens in different locations to reach new markets and tying technology to it. It sounded and felt a lot more cost effective, and it still is. I mean, we didn't have any startup capital to start investing in heavy equipment, like commercial equipment, and setting up a whole joint where people would come and sit or come and order. And this is done primarily in a home kitchen, but just trying to create processes that are really efficient, that we can reach the masses. And when it's time to scale, we scale the kitchen to another location that's a bit remote to reach a new market and a new audience. We're experimenting with a lot of things and approaches to see how best to achieve that mobile fast food experience. But the goal is to really merge technology with limited real estate ownership to really have something that scales naturally. And if there's a need to have some sort of franchise model, that could come along. But we also have to rethink and re-engineer the franchise model in a contextual way, in a way that makes sense for many here.
Yeah, I mean, the ghost kitchen model definitely makes sense, especially in terms of saving money. I think that's something that's also taken off here in the States. And I think because of COVID, people have gotten used to actually not having to go in to the shop in order to get their food, right? So I think that's a great idea. Yeah.
This is a ballistic business. That's all I gotta say.
Thanks, Caleb.
Yeah.
So you said home. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. We're just about to wrap up here, because unfortunately we're reaching the end of our time, and also I'm sure Tendai is just like craving breakfast right now.
I have to go make breakfast. I know exactly what I'll cook too.
I kind of tortured myself here. Tendai, I mean, you're a VC. What do you got for this? What do you got to say about this? What are your thoughts?
I mean, as someone who's interested in investing across Africa, I definitely have to say that this ballistic burgers is something that I would definitely invest in, right? I know just talking to some of my family members back home, they love fast food, and they love convenience, and they're always on WhatsApp. They all have WhatsApp shops as well. So your model of actually selling via WhatsApp definitely makes sense. I think I even heard that Facebook might start implementing being able to pay on WhatsApp. I'm not sure if they've already done that, but I think going to where the customers are, and the customers are on WhatsApp, is phenomenal. You know, no one here in the States sells burgers through text or through iMessage. So that's definitely fantastic.
You know the thing with WhatsApp, and our context, we are still a very social, and this is something I talked a lot about with my experience with e-commerce in Africa and Rwanda particularly. We are a social society or community, and people still want to interact with human. Your typical experience in the US is you order for something and you trust that it will reach you without any interaction. But what do we get here? You order for something and you'll still call to ask if it's gonna reach you, or ask details before you even order whether that thing is legit. And that's just how we are wired. People want to interact with someone to trust. So WhatsApp was quite an avenue for that, because we are already interacting in one form or the other, and people want to have a conversation. And
yeah, you can even send them pictures of the burger while you make it too.
I think even some folks here on Facebook Live are asking to see pictures. Yeah, Richard, we're gonna wrap up. I am totally empowered. Tendai, I think. Can you say the same?
Hungry and empowered.
You're hungry. That's our next podcast.
We ended up talking about food longer than we thought we would.
I know, but that's your business at the end of the day. Folks in the audience are, asking to see pictures, asking to learn more. Tell us how they can find you, how they can engage, what the community here of Empower Africa can do to be helpful, and any last messages for the audience here and for us.
Oh wow! I mean, we're in times where every or any idea is valid. I believe whatever people are thinking. There's no need to hold it off to later. I feel like this is the time when time is in our hands. People have a lot of free time and opportunities to start new things. I'm seeing a wave of people trying out things, and this is already cool. I would just encourage people to try out things. It's quite an opportunity to experiment and succeed or fail, but there's a lot of things that one can learn. When it comes to Ballistic Burgers, we're found across social media platforms. Ballistic Burgers with an S at the end on Instagram and Facebook, and Ballistic Burger on Twitter. There's no S on Twitter, but I'm also across platform, whether it's LinkedIn, primarily LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and happy to have a chat anytime.
And this is the first time you've talked about Ballistic Burgers, yeah?
Yes, I've never gone out and spoke about this business. Many people in Kigali, unless you're my friend, barely know who is behind Ballistic Burgers.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Do we have time for one audience question? If anyone in the audience has a question.
Sure.
For Richard?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'll take one.
Does anyone have a question? Okay, maybe not. All right. Just wanted to give anyone the chance. Cool.
So all the details are on our social media platforms.
Incredible.
Okay.
Incredible. But literally ballistic. I'm going ballistic right now by thinking about the burger, just ballistic with gratitude for you being our first guest on I Am Empowered. that goes to Tendai, my awesome co-host here, and for the business that you're building too, man. It's just it's ballistic. No other words, man.
Thank you for the opportunity. I know we just literally met like 2 days ago or so, but here we are chatting and talking about businesses.
And we're empowered.
Yeah.
We'll continue to do so.
Thanks for sharing everything. I can't wait to go to Rwanda and try it. I'll definitely try it.
You should. Welcome. Disclaimer, don't get addicted.
No promises.
Thank you. So
thank you.
So signing off, Tendai. We're gonna be back here next week, same time, 7:00 Central Africa time, 7:00 Israel time, 7 a.m. Pacific Coast time, 10:00 Eastern.
I'm looking forward to it.
This is Caleb and Tendai, and on behalf of the crew, signing off. I'm empowered. Thank you.
Thank you.